Let our hearts not be hardened to those living on the margins. There is a room at the table for everyone. This is where it all begins. This is how we gather in. There is room at the table for everyone. Too long we have wandered, burdened and undone, but there is room at the table for everyone. Let us sing the new world in. This is how it all begins. There is room at the table for everyone. There is room for us all, and no gift is too small. There is room at the table for everyone. There's enough if we share. Come on, pull up a chair. There is room at the table for everyone. No matter who you are, no matter where you're from, there is room at the table for everyone. Here and now we can be the beloved community. There is room at the table for everyone. There is room for us all, and no gift is too small. There is room at the table for everyone. There's enough if we share. Come on, pull up a chair. There is room at the table for everyone. There is room for us all, and no gift is too small. There is room at the table for everyone. There's enough if we share. Come on, pull up a chair. There is room at the table for everyone. Let our hearts not be hardened to the living on the margins. There is room at the table for everyone. This is how we gather in for everyone. Everyone.
Good morning and welcome to the live in-person and live Zoom worship service of the Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside. Thank you for joining us here in person, and thank you for joining us remotely by Zoom, where we will continue live streaming and posting these services on our YouTube channel for our virtual attendees. I'm Tinka Friend, a member of the worship committee, and I will be your worship associate today. Other members of the worship committee that make this service possible include Alec Peck, our music coordinator, Adam Weddigging, who monitors our visual and online connections, Kate Lewicki, who is in charge of our sound system, and Nick Williams, who will be delivering the sermon today. We welcome you to join us this morning with an open mind and an open heart, and with muted electronic devices, please. And thank you all for sharing your morning with us here at UUCR. And I want to take a moment to extend a very warm welcome to everybody who is visiting us. This is a place where we come to learn about being human and how we can apply our values to encourage individual and collective growth. On this morning, we gather to proclaim that, especially in these divisive and complicated times, we belong to one another and that others belong to us. And we are glad you are here. Because there are so many different elements in today's service, some of our usual elements are being omitted so that we can end on time and join together for our first Sunday lunch, which will be in the parish hall following the service. Before we move into the service, there are a few announcements that we would like to share. We will mention several websites, email addresses, and phone numbers. At the end of the service, we will leave up a slide that has all of this information, and it is available on our website. So many thanks goes out to Robert, who is in the kitchen right now, Kate, Adam, Avery, who's also in the kitchen, Karina and the team at Food Not Bombs, and all of you who supported and volunteered for our free community barbecue that was held on the grass over here yesterday. We sincerely appreciate all of the effort, donations, and hard work that went into this outreach event. We had several people from the community, especially from the apartments that are near us. I spoke with one very wonderful woman. So I think that it was a success. There's also a special mention goes out to Alec for sharing his delicious homemade ice cream recipe with us. And it was delicious. And we each had to make our own. Our first Sunday luncheon will be served after the service. Today's theme is salads. And contributions are appreciated and will be donated to the church fund. A discussion on the ongoing Peace series will be held today from 12 to 1 in the sanctuary following the luncheon. All are invited to attend and participate in the Q&A session. Women's Fed will be meeting in the parish hall on Saturday, October 12th from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. This meeting will be followed by the election ballot party to be held afterwards from 2 p.m. And there'll be a little bit more about that later in the announcements. Church Council will meet on the second Friday of the month in the annex. The next meeting will be at 4 p.m. on October the 11th. And join us for a harvest luncheon with friends at 1:30 p.m. on Saturday, October the 19th. And that is a fundraising. And I also would like to acknowledge that October is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And I really liked this graphic because it shows what most able people say to someone who has a disability, what they think they would like to hear. You are so inspiring. I want to see you as my equal. While what most disabled people really want to hear is, you're hired. Your medical coverage was approved. We are happy to accommodate you, and you've got that promotion. So now, Adam Wedeking, who is the chair of our Social and Environmental Justice Committee, would like to share a brief announcement with us.
Good morning. Ballots are being mailed out now, I believe. If you haven't received it, you'll be receiving them this week for the upcoming November election. There's a lot of ways to vote. We talked a little bit about this last week. You know, you can mail in your ballots, you can go to early voting locations, you can vote on election day. If you'd like to mail in your ballot and kind of want a little easier way to do it, this Saturday we're having an a ballot party. You can bring your ballots that you'll be getting in the mail this week. We'll go over how to fill it out. And then not how to vote, but we'll talk about, where to put your name and where to check and where to do things. And then our Social and Environmental Justice Committee members have been studying the propositions that are on the ballot. And there's always a lot of propositions that you feel like you got to do a lot of study of. Our committee members and some of our community partners have been doing that research. And so they're gonna present to us what they have learned. And then if you would like to, you can fill out your ballot with us and put it in the envelope and sign it over to us, and we can turn them all in if you don't want to do that. But if you want to, once you're done, you'll have it ready to go and you can stick in the mailbox when you get home. So come check us out. Again, this is next Saturday. This is at 2:00, a little earlier than we had said before, because we're kind of combining with Women's Fed. They're going to do their business at the beginning, and then we'll come together and have our party. So hopefully I see y'all there. I expect an email tomorrow morning to everybody inviting y'all there. So thank you.
Thank you, Adam. So again, welcome, and welcome to our visitors today, and welcome back to old friends. We would love to meet you during coffee hour after the service. So if you are a visitor and you're comfortable doing so, please give us a wave so we can recognize you later on. We would love to chat with you in the parish hall, where you can also find our visitors book. Please leave your name before you leave so that we know you were here, and leave your contact information if you want updates on church events. For those online, the best way to get added to the mailing list is to email the church office at admin@uuchurchofriverside.org. Okay, I told you there was a lot of things. Now, I invite you to sit back and take a slow, deep breath as we move into the worship hour. You are welcome to read with me the mission statement of our church. Our mission is to foster a diverse religious community that celebrates life, affirms the individual, encourages spiritual growth and open thought, and works to advance social justice and environmental sustainability. Today's speaker is UUCR member Nick Williams. Nick has been a longtime member here since 1996. He has served in various leadership capacities as board vice president, chair of church council, board treasurer, men's group leader, and many years as the quote-unquote humorous supreme leader of the pledge drive. He currently serves on the Social and Environmental Justice Committee and the Worship Committee, and you see him often as a worship associate on Sunday mornings. The sermon this morning is the third installment of a series called Love in the Complicated Places, given by Tinka Friend, myself, and Nick Williams. Following the second installment, which focused on failures that they both have experienced while working with students with disability, in this section, Nick will speak out about another experience in a high school in Norco. He was placed with a freshman autistic student and knew little about autism when he took the job. They would spend 4 years together learning from each other. It was certainly a complicated place, but this time it would be a success for the student as well as for Nick when it came to finding love. We have 2 lightings of sacred flames. The first is a remembrance candle for the indigenous peoples who continue to cry out for justice and self-determination. We remember that underneath us is the unceded land of several indigenous peoples: the Cahuilla, the Luceño, and the Copeño. We light this sacred flame in their remembrance and in recognition of their ongoing struggle for freedom and dignity. Our second sacred flame is our own chalice, the symbol of our faith. We are blessed with this space and opportunity to strive to live out our common principles, to bring justice, equity, and compassion into our daily lives, to resist all that threatens the earth and her people, and to be part of a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. Please let these thoughts sit within us and seep into our souls before they carry us forth as we journey and worship together. I am struck with the words justice, equity, compassion, peace, liberty. I hold them close to my heart as we must acknowledge the tremendous sadness of tomorrow, October 7th, which will be the one-year anniversary of Hamas's attack on Israelis, resulting in the deaths of families and the taking of over 200 hostages, about half of whom are still not released, nor have their bodies been returned. It has also resulted in a year-long bombardment of Palestinian cities and encampments, killing over 40,000 Palestinians, mostly women and children. This date, today, October 6th, was the last day of normalcy for both Israelis and Palestinians. It was the last day they all laughed and played with their children. It was the last day they sat down and ate a full meal together with all of their family. It was the last day they kissed their children and put them to bed without being filled with fear that they would be killed before morning. Because of the terror inflicted on both sides, our hearts struggle to find justice, equity, and compassion. They can't find peace, liberty, and justice for all. Their hearts have become hardened, as hard as this stone. Just as water has the capacity to wear away hard stone, I pray that they, Israelis and Palestinians both, find and hold fast to the spirit of love, the spirit of life, the spirit of compassion, and the spirit of forgiveness, and that the hardness of their hearts soften, and that retaliation ceases to be the guiding light for both sides. Amen. We will also light a peace candle today to symbolize our hope for justice and peace in all the ongoing conflicts around the world. Today's chalice lighting words are, "If I Must Die," by Rifat al-Arir. As I said, more than 40,000 Palestinians have been slain this past year. One of them is writer and professor Rifat al-Arir, who was killed in an airstrike by the Israeli military on December 6th, along with his brother's son, his sister, and her 3 children. He was a poet. And this is a poem he wrote after the relentless bombing started along the Gaza Strip. I offer it up as our chalice lighting for this day. If I must die, you must live to tell my story. To sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings, make it white with a long tail. so that a child somewhere in Gaza, while looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad who left in a blaze and bid no one farewell, not even to his flesh, not even to himself. But the child sees the kite, my kite you made, flying up above, and thinks for a moment it is an angel up there, bringing back love. If I must die, let it bring hope. Let it be a tale. It is said, shared joy is a double joy. Shared sorrow is half sorrow. On the first Sunday of each month, we share the joys and concerns that we have received from you and which have been collected throughout the month. First, I'm going to read the joys and concerns which were given to us. Concern for all those who suffered losses in the recent wildfires and Hurricane Helene. A joy for the refreshing return of basic civility and respect in the recent vice presidential debate. If there is anyone here in the sanctuary who would like to speak their joy or concern, please raise your hand and you will be invited to come here to the microphone on the floor to speak. Is there anyone who wishes to share a joy or a concern that they're dealing with?
This just came to my mind. I have a sister who is no longer living. She had two daughters. The youngest daughter came to visit me yesterday, and we're going down to visit the other daughter. I haven't seen either one of them in about 30 years. So it's kind of a good day for me today and tomorrow. We're going to go visit them.
Thank you. Thank you, Dinah.
The stone just dropped. It strikes me that in the drylands of the Middle East, there's pain. In the wetlands of Tennessee and of North Carolina, there is pain. If you're going to be human, there's pain. There's also somebody out there fixing up a flat full of water, cooking dessert for her family in Palestine. Somebody who decides to waive costs on something because it's got to go to refugees near or far. There's pain. There are people who do something about it, and then there are the people who do what they can to help the people who do something about it. The world is short on Band-Aids and duct tape, but we are not giving up.
I would like to offer up, let's not forget the pain of the Israelis who have had a loved one that's been gone for a year now. Those that know not the fate of a family member. Is there anyone online who wants to share a joy or concern? Okay, well, I would like to, oh, go ahead. No. I was going to do it for you, probably.
My name is Nick, and I'm a Unitarian Universalist. In my continuing attempts to get surgery. I thought it was going to be this week, but it looks like it's going to be put off for another week or two. But it is on the docket and I will get it done. That's my neck surgery. And then after that, I'll have the low back surgery. I think I've taken every test that they can think of to throw at me and passed them successfully, A+ in every one. And so I look forward to it. And I may be going for a little while. This will be my last time at the pulpit for a bit. I'll be gone, but I hope not forgotten.
Our beloved friend came out. Lori, we all know, we haven't seen her in a while because she's having some health issues, but their address is in the church directory, so send her a card. She's not in the best health right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to express the joy that one of our friends, Casey's daughter, Jennifer, just got married here at the church. Was it this month? 2 weeks ago? Yes. Yes. Okay. So congratulations. Thank you.
Hey, anyone else? We place a stone in our water chalice to represent the joys and concerns we have shared with our church community and in recognition of those that we hold close but have not shared. May we remember those who have spoken, those they named, and those we hold in silence in our hearts.
From the model of pain that we go through on a regular basis, and from the power to overcome.
Our meditation today is going to be a musical meditation. So you don't need to stand, get in a comfortable place and listen to the hymn, Find a Stillness. Please sit back and relax. Gently close your eyes if you wish. Take a deep cleansing breath and enjoy the music.
Find a stillness, hold a stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find the silence, hold the silence, let the silence carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony. Seek the essence, hold the essence, let the essence carry me. Let me flower, help me flower, watch me flower, carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony.
This portion of our service is to support our beloved historical church. This can be accomplished in several ways. In addition to the weekly collection, you may send your checks to the church address, which is shown here. You may contribute by PayPal using the QR code, which is there as well, and the church website and in the newsletter. Stater Brothers Market gives our church a rebate on Stater grocery cards, which we will have in church each Sunday. You get the full value, and the church also receives a percentage for free. Please see Dinah Rowe or Robert Braun in the church office if you are interested in purchasing the gift cards. Please donate as the Spirit moves you by whatever method is best for you. We thank you for your generosity, and to those who give of their time and their talent, thank you for your generous care and attention. Will our ushers now please come forward to receive the collection? Our next hymn is number 402 from You I Receive from the Gray Hymnal. Feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you. Please stand in either body or spirit and join us in singing hymn 402 from You I Receive, which will be projected behind me. Thank you. You may be seated. A few months ago, I was inspired to write a sermon after I found a short reading titled Love in the Complicated Places. It was written by Joe Von Roo, who was a minister, a UU minister, who had a very complicated childhood and then realized later as an adult that her 5th grade teacher was actually coming from a place of love when the teacher bluntly and honestly told Joe something which embarrassed her. As a retired teacher myself, who taught children with special needs, I related very much with her teacher, and I shared experiences where I found love in the complicated places as I was teaching. Realizing that Nick and I both had experiences when we were unable to find love during some of very complicated places in education. Not only the places were complicated, but the students were complicated. We decided to create a second service centering on our failures to find love in the complicated places. Well, we both shared one and what we learned in the midst of that failure, and how we going forward, how we could have perhaps done better. Well, now this is the third in the series, and Nick will be sharing a success story. A time when he was assigned to an autistic high school student, and Nick felt that he was way in over his head. And he has invited his former student and his family to this service. So now let's listen to how Nick found love in the complicated places.
Love in the complicated places. And what is love? Love is the sun in the morning and the moon at night. As said by Elmer Gantry, fictional evangelical preacher in a book by the same name. Love is not always the sun in the morning and the moon at night. Love is a feeling, although it doesn't always feel the same or as intense. Sometimes it's slow to develop. Sometimes it's fast. Sometimes it feels deep and wide, expansive and all-encompassing. Some of these you will recognize and some you won't. For me, as an instructional aide, it came as a surprise that I would care as much as I did for some of my students. I was a one-on-one aide. I was given a single highly involved challenge student to be with all day, every day, and to help him personally and academically. My first student had cerebral palsy and was confined to a motorized wheelchair. He was alert, clever, fun. He had an infectious laugh that had everyone laughing. He was, of course, easy to care about and love. But I'm not talking about him. That's a story for another time. Today is my main man, Andrew. Andrew. He's a big kid now, maybe 30, I suppose. At the time that I first met him, he was lanky, student with thick glasses and a few medical conditions like asthma. But most of all, Andrew is autistic. Basically, I knew nothing about autism except for 6 weeks with a preschool class. First, I went to my primary source of special education information, Ms. Friend, the preeminent Tinka friend, my lovely wife. I received a quick course of understanding about autism and, of course, some suggested readings. These teachers, they always have a reading list. The student, Andrew, and his mother, Laura, and I met a few days prior to the beginning of school on the Norco High school campus. It was his freshman year. I got a sense of them and an idea of the expectations Laura had for her son. I was to stay with Andrew all through high school, from his freshman year to his graduation in his senior year. Andrew took the usual special ed classes of language, math, art, and history, but for his elective classes, he was placed in general education classes with me there to assist him. Many general education teachers didn't know what to do with him and relied on me. The challenge for me was finding ways to adapt the material so Andrew could master the skills to the best of his ability. I received a lot of support from several teachers, administration, and of course, I always had special ed teacher Ms. Friend on call so that Andrew had the most successful high school experience possible. My first days with Andrew was a quick learning curve for me. Every week I learned something new. I found that my preconceived ideas about people with autism were being challenged and modified. I found Andrew to be aware of his surroundings and eager to comply with requests. He was very respectful to me, although there were some things he was very clear boundaries about. What was immediately evident was that Andrew referred to himself in the third person. It was, Andrew want this, Andrew want that. And he would point to himself. My first thought was, this can't continue. Makes him stand out and sound strange, even if I knew the meaning of what he was trying to say. So I would correct him with, no, I want that. He would look at me strangely and say, you want that? I would say, no, 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 you want that. He would smile and say, Andrew want that. Yeah, I could see this was going to take some work. And it did, but we finally got there. Another immediate challenge was in PE class. He was clear about his asthma and his inability to run because he said he couldn't breathe. PE instructor said, that's fine. Just follow the other students and walk around the track. Now, I soon came to see that it was important to Andrew that he fit in with the other students. I shared with Andrew that I also had asthma and used an inhaler, and yet I could run. I was really too fat at the time to run, but he trusted me and didn't ask me to demonstrate my abilities. I missed that bullet. By the end of the school year, he was not only running with the other students, he was coming in fourth or fifth with the front group. The following year, he signed up for track. He had no idea which event he wanted to compete in, but he was eager to perform and run with the group. He came in last in every race but one, but the coach kept him on the team because of his good attitude, his hard work ethic, and how much he enjoyed being on the team. He was a great example. Many autistic students are fascinated with mechanical objects. For Andrew, he wanted to take the class on small engines. First year, we took a lawnmower apart and put it back together. I knew Andrew could not do it on his own. I was there to help and direct him. But he was very eager and interested in putting things together. He took this class each year, and it really expanded his abilities. Also, students with autism generally don't like certain things, like maintaining eye contact, getting their hands dirty, loud noises, and physical contact with others. So that created quite a challenge for us, but Andrew wanted to take, and he wanted to be right in the middle of things, doing what the other kids were doing. So we would reduce the noise by wearing headphones and wear plastic gloves to keep our hands clean. It was amazing, in working with Andrew, it was amazing to see what he accomplished in those areas. He was mainstreamed, along with myself, in classes such as band, where he played in the percussion section, welding, where he also learned carpentry and painting, ROTC, where there was a lot of formation marching, yelling, and cadence calling, as well as 4-H, where he raised a pig. Here you can see many of the things that he participated in. There we are. His pig running the race. God, I was big back then. Yes. ROTC and band. Usually autistic people on the end of the spectrum like Andrew hate loud noises, and that was Andrew. The first year I worked with him, which worked on him learning how to put up with other people. He couldn't stand people talking loudly around him, and he would loudly tell them so. But after working with him on desensitization to noises for a year, he did things no one would expect, like band. His mother was amazed when she heard him pounding out the slag in welding class. She looked at me in astonishment. I can't believe Andrew's doing this. For several years in a row, his welding class made metal garden flowers out of old used horse shows. Was Norco after all. So they would sell them at the annual Norco fair. They were used as a fundraising project for the agriculture department. And of course, I bought some of the ones Andrew made each year. I still have 4 of them in my front garden, and nothing has fallen off of them. Good welding job. Is that the one with my front door? Yes, no, it's not. There we are, the front door, one of the still active and surviving flowers. Now, welding was an interesting class, working with an acetylene torch, a blue flame that, if it touched human flesh, was an instant 3rd-degree burn. Now, I am not Superman with invulnerable skin, so I was careful to stay out of the way. Andrew was in control of the torch and the hot slag. I had sleeves to cover my arms and a face cover to protect my face, but it was not enough. I still got burned by flying slag. Oh, Andrew never burnt once. Pounding away at the residue called slag that covered the welding joint, he remained untouched through 3 years of welding. He also continued with 3 years of track and 3 years of junior ROTC. I suspect he liked uniforms, which he wore in both band and ROTC. His need to be with the other kids was a huge motivator for him, and he had a deadly 3-pointer on the basketball court, which helped him fit in well with the PE crowd. Both teams were great with him. When he was past the ball, each team would hold back and give him a chance to shoot. This was all worked out by the students on their own without any prompting by me. I was surprised at these developments. So, high school is a strange and complicated place to find love of another human being, but with Andrew, it became easy after the first year. Why? Because he was hardworking, friendly, caring of others, and very accepting. The most amazing part was the love I saw between Andrew and other students, especially the ROTC kids. His squad approached me, engulfed Andrew, and guided him away from me into their group. Well, I tried to follow, but they said, "It's okay, we got him. We'll take care of him." And they did take care of him and taught him new things like marching in formation and calling cadence. I saw what a wonderful job they did on the night of the annual military ball. There was Andrew in the middle of a room of a couple of hundred people in attendance, and he was leading the call and response. Sitting in that room with his mother, we both cried with pride and joy and thankfulness. Andrew and I both grew a lot as a result of this relationship that we developed. It started out as a very complicated place at the beginning, but was less complicated with each successive year. Each year, I learned so much from working with Andrew and the trust he had in me. Most important things I learned from Andrew were perseverance. No matter how many times you have to do something again and again and again and again, don't give up. willingness. Whatever is required of you to do, start right in without complaint. 3, participation, joining in with others, trying to do what they are doing. And 4, acceptance. As long as you are doing your best, the outcome is always acceptable. I continue to see Andrew and his family. He still calls me Mr. Williams, but now greets me with a hug. This is love in a complicated place. That is one of the top rewarding memories of my life in education. And I thank God for the opportunity to experience it with Andrew and his family and to share it with you today. Thank you and amen.
Our closing hymn is "We Will Rise Together" by Cliff Harden. And feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you. Please rise in body and spirit and join us in singing "We Will Rise Together," which is projected up front.
We will rise together, you and I, rise together hand in hand. Oh, we will rise together, heads held high. We will reach the promised land. Come, my friend, I see a brighter day, where freedom rings for everyone. Find a way to justice rising like the sun. We will sing together, you and I, sing together hand in hand. Come, we will sing together, heads held high. We will reach the promised land. Come, my friend, I see a brighter day, where freedom rings for everyone. Come along and we will find a way to justice rising like the sun. We will dance together, you and I, dance together hand in hand. Come, we will dance together, heads held high. We will reach the promised land. Come, my friend, I see a brighter day, where freedom rings for everyone. Come along and we will find a way to justice rising like the sun. We will shout together, you and I, shout together hand in hand. Come, we will shout together, heads held high. We will reach the promised land. Come, my friend, I see a brighter day, where freedom rings for everyone. Come along and we will find a way to justice rising like the sun. To justice rising like the sun.
Please be seated. And our benediction actually is something that I wrote for this morning to follow this service, this sermon. It's called "Where is Love in the Complicated Places?" Love in the complicated places? Where is it? I don't see it. Are you sure love is here? This place is so confusing, so uncertain, so frustrating, so complicated. Are you sure love is here? Where is it hiding? I don't see it. Okay. Slow down. Take a deep breath. Focus outward, not inward. What do I see? That smile. That laugh. Was love hiding there? That pat on the arm. That show of faith and trust. I think love was there. It doesn't seem so complicated or frustrating anymore. Did love do that? Yes, I think I can find love, even in the complicated places. Namaste, amen, and blessed be. Thank you, Nick, for sharing your valuable time and insights and experience with us this morning. It is sincerely appreciated, and we look forward to seeing you again. And I said that we were making some changes this morning. So one of those is we're not going to have the Q&A here. For those of you who would like to either make comments or ask questions of Nick, please feel free to do so in the parish hall or during lunch. And so I invite us all to adjourn into the parish hall and for our luncheon, our first Sunday luncheons. Thank you.